November 28th at 8:30, and we're calling the City of San Angelo Development Corporation meeting to order. I'd like to ask Director John Barrio to lead us in prayer this morning.
You would bow with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to live in this fine city of San Angelo, Texas. We thank you for all that it takes to run this city, and that we have good citizens that step up to the plate and handle all those tasks. We thank you for the elected officials, the appointed ones, and all of those who call it their profession and are hired. Lord knows, you know that the tasks are sometimes difficult, but the accomplishments bless many. We ask that you focus our minds this morning on the business of the Development Corporation. Let us always remember that we are simply good stewards of the funds that the taxpayers gather, and that it's not our money, but theirs. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, John. Now moving on to public comment. Issues or items that are not on the agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, beginning by stating their name and limiting remarks to less than 3 minutes. Board members may request that a discussed item be placed on a future agenda. The board takes public comment on all regular agenda items during the discussion of those items.
Guy Andrews, Director of Economic Development, COSA DC. Just wanted to make you aware of a small but important reorganization that we've just completed within the staff organization. Hopefully I remain the director and not anything really changes in that. We just updated my position description. If you'll look to the left, you'll see that Bob Schneeman will now have the title of Economic Development Project Manager. And his role will be to cover those things that are civil engineering related or related to projects, the industrial park, the airport industrial park. Once we look at the rail development within that, he will also help coordinate projects that are brought in, whether they're in the industrial park where the people moving in, new companies moving in. If they need his assistance with civil engineering issues, he will be handling those as well. Shannon Scott is taking over the role of Business Retention Expansion Coordinator. We're adding some high octane to that program to make sure that we make a whole lot more contacts. And Shannon's going to be working very closely with Michael Looney and Sarma and that organization. And so we're looking for great things. And then Nora Navarez is going to be, her new title will be Economic Development Assistant. It's a small promotion for that. She'll be helping Shannon and Bob with different activities that take place, but a lot of the administrative and contact activities and that sort of thing, as well as her current role of coordinating the Business Resource Center and that sort of thing. So I'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have in regard to this, but we're excited that, to have implemented this reorganization. We did talk to your executive staff before that, and they were all in agreement that with this reorganization change. Any questions? Thank you much.
Okay, we're still open for public comment. I'd like to make a public comment. I'd like to congratulate Shannon Scott this year as being selected as one of the 20 under 40 recipients this year. So I just want to recognize her. All right, we'll close public comment. Moving on to proclamations and recognitions. A recognition of former COSA DC Vista Sarah Lamog for earning the Governor's Make a Difference National Service Award for her contributions to making Tom Green County the second county in the state to become ACT Work Ready certified.
Good morning. My name is Shannon Scott. I'm the Economic Development Specialist, or I guess now the Business Retention and Expansion Coordinator for the City of San Angelo Development Corporation. So last month, Sarah sent an email to Nora and I that she had received this honor from the governor's office. And we were super excited because, as y'all know, she was a part of our team for about a year and really helped put the ACT Work Ready community on the map. So with that said, we wanted to kind of give her a shout out and let y'all know what the governor's office recognized her for. So essentially, she won the Governor's Volunteer Awards, which is administered by the One Star Foundation. And it honors the contributions of individuals, businesses, and organizations in Texas that have made a positive impact in their communities or across the state through service and volunteering. So former co-CDC, Vista, Sarah Lamog was instrumental in making Tom Green County the second county in Texas to be certified as an ACT Work-Ready community. Sarah has served with the Work Ready Project for the City of San Angelo Development Corporation, which is a program that's designed to decrease unemployment and create a more prepared workforce. Under her leadership, the Work Ready team secured commitments from over 122 local employers to support and utilize the ACT Work Ready skill assessments. On October 15, 2018, Sarah was awarded the National Service Make a Difference Award by Texas Governor Greg Abbott and his wife Cecilia. The ceremony was held at the governor's mansion in Austin, Texas, and as I said, myself and Nora attended with Sarah. So we have some pictures to show as well. And again, I think there were potentially 20 applicants, is that right? So we were very well represented from San Angelo. It was a really exciting ceremony and a very great deal. So we wanted to, again, recognize Sarah for her contributions in the ACT Work Ready community. So congratulations, Sarah. Okay. And if, Sarah, if you'd like to say anything, I don't want to put you on the spot, but...
Thank you, Shannon, and good morning, board. I wanted to thank you all and the San Angelo community, because I think that this award really reflects the San Angelo community and how there is that chance to make a difference. And so it's just been an honor to be a part of both the VISTA program, an honor to work at COSA DC, and an honor to serve y'all. So thank you.
Thank you for everything. All right, moving on to consent agenda. We need a motion for approval of the minutes, consider approving the necessary corporation disbursements, consider approving the October 2018 financial statement, consider a resolution authorizing the use of sales and use tax funds in an amount not to exceed $49,225 to provide an economic development incentive to U.S. Custom and Border Protection Air and Marine Operations with participation by the City of San Angelo for a project authorized under Chapter 501 and 505 of the Local Government Code for Type B Development Corporations. And lastly, consider a resolution authorizing the board president or his designee to negotiate and execute a memorandum of understanding with the City of San Angelo relating to a Type B Development Corporation project providing for planning and design services for a hangar and related infrastructure improvements to municipal airport property utilized by U.S. Customs and Border Protection Air and Marine Operations necessary to the maintenance and potential expansion of the CBPAMO aeronautical fixed base operations for research, testing, and development of the governmental use of unmanned aircraft systems, and authorizing negotiation and execution of a professional engineering and surveying services contract necessary for the project. Can I get a motion for consent agenda?
I'll make that motion. Go ahead.
Motion by Director Barrio, second by Director Dindal. All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. All right, going to into our regular agenda, update presentation regarding the 2018 Porch to Plains Alliance annual meeting held in Del Rio, October 30th through November 2nd. Presentation made by Director of Economic Development, Guy Andrews.
Thank you, Board. Once again, we attended, John Barrio, Mayor Gunter and I attended this annual meeting. It was held in Del Rio, and then they actually went across the border to Acuna and toured some of the factories over there and had the second day of the meeting as well. And a picture's worth 1,000 words, and a video must be worth about 10,000 words. So we have a small video to show you. If we could cue that up, please.
From a concept developed in Lubbock to an international alliance of 167 members, Ports to Plains is a united coalition formed to create and encourage the development of a trade corridor that will provide for our future. We empower communities and businesses as we advocate for safer roads, growth for our community, and funds for improvements to transportation infrastructure. As the Texas Freight Mobility Study recommends, the extension from Laredo to Lubbock is one of the key pieces needed for the projected growth. To address the traffic congestion, safety issues, and high cost of development along the I-35 and I-25 corridors, we unite to advocate for the development of a parallel corridor that will bring states, cities, and its citizens new economic wealth and opportunities while creating safer and more efficient routes for all. We pursue the development of the corridor because improvements to infrastructure will unite the center of food, fiber, and fuel resources with industry and marketplace. Together, the corridor works to expand local economies as it serves 8 of the top 10 wind generation states, 28% of the nation's ethanol refineries, 5 of the top 6 natural gas producing states, 7 of the top 10 oil producing states, and 4 of the top 8 farm states. Currently, an estimated $96 billion is exported between corridor states. But as we continue working toward this robust transportation system, the Freight Analysis Framework, FAF, projects an increase to $195 billion by 2040. On an international scale, the corridor fuels $280 billion in trade with Canada and Mexico, more than 25% of all U.S. trade with those countries. As a united front, we can affect policy, maintaining relationships with legislators on both sides of the aisle to ensure proper funding for expansion. We maintain this determination to build for tomorrow, but it requires an alliance committed to collaboration. Every member is vital to this effort. We're on the cusp of real change and a future for the corridor that will be transformative for our region and the country. Together, united, we are stronger.
Thank you. I wanted to mention that both Mr. Barrio and the mayor are board members of Ports to Plains. And John, would you like to say anything in regard to that
Just
trip?
briefly, it was an outstanding conference. There were a number of delegates there from all levels of government and industry from Mexico. One session was in Del Rio and was very well attended, had translators and earpieces for those who needed them on this side of the border. The next day, when we were in Mexico, the roles were reversed. We were the ones needing the translators, but it was very well presented. One of the individuals, and forgive me, I don't remember his exact title, but basically he's on the Mexican president's staff relating to industrial development, commerce, and tourism. We often talk about the Ports to Plains effort as being to benefit food, fiber, and fuel, the transportation of those products. But I'd like to throw in another double F, and that's family fun. I think we've all used the interstates for that purpose. This Thanksgiving weekend, many traveled via the interstate highway system. And the sooner we expand those highways, not just completely to the interstate level, but even just the widening, adding passing lanes, improving safety, that's what this is all about. The conference was very well planned, executed, and received by everyone that attended, I believe. As well, yesterday we had a groundbreaking for the new bridges that are going to be over by Howard College on 67. It's the largest, or rather the most expensive single bridge project ever undertaken in this highway district of San Angelo. And it will eventually connect that whole Ports to Plains. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's like eating an elephant, one bite at a time.
The takeaway that I had from it is I believe that San Angelo is very strategically placed to benefit from both the Ports to Plains and the I-14 projects for distribution of products and that sort of thing. So I'm excited that the impact that it could have on San Angelo and the Concho Valley as well. Glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions from the board?
Thank you much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Guy.
Okay, we're going to move on to agenda item B. Consider approving the proposed COSA DC meeting calendar for 2019. Presentation made by Executive Office Coordinator Nora Navarez.
Good morning, board members. Just right quick, it's pretty simple. I've already prepared our schedule for next year. I will, at the end of our meeting, send out calendar appointments so that the meetings are on your schedule. As you may notice, the only date that is different because of the holiday is December 18th. So I have double checked also to make sure that our meeting does not conflict in case of any of you with children with spring break, but our board meeting doesn't. So if you have any other questions or if we need to make any changes, just let me know.
All right, that is up for a vote, so I need a motion.
Moved.
Okay, motion made by Director Coles, second by Director Casillas. All those in favor?
Aye.
And then opposed, motion carries. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, moving on to item C. Consider appointing a president, vice president, and second vice president for the City of San Angelo Development Corporation. Presentation made by Economic Development Specialist Shannon Scott. Guess we need to update y'all's
Our titles.
new titles. And
I'll get on that for next month. Good morning again, board. Again, as President Carrasco stated, this is going to be for the nominations again of the president, vice president, and second vice president for the City of San Angelo Development Corporation. As y'all might recall, at the March 28th meeting, we did elect our president, vice president, first vice president and second vice president. And at the time, it was for a term for up to 6 months. Obviously, we've exceeded that, so we wanted to bring that back to you all to go ahead and vote on those positions at this board meeting. So with that said, we will open up the nominations for the officers.
I'll make a suggestion or I guess a nomination. I'd like to see kind of those that have served in the capacity just go ahead and filter up. That being, and obviously it's up to their decision to accept the roles or not, but it's traditionally been those that have been first go up to president and second go to first, so forth. Just because it's an extensive learning curve being on the board and trying to get prepped up. And so I feel that Todd would be great in filling the president's position. Ask Director Dindal to step up to first vice president, and then that would leave the open slot. So my logic it would be to go to the next senior board member, which would be Director Cummings. And so that's what I would present to the board.
I agree.
Any other nominations or?
That makes sense.
Pretty quiet, so I guess with there being no other suggestions or nominations, we'll go ahead and make a motion for those
I'll second that motion.
They should be voted on
individually.
individually
Okay.
in any event.
Perfect, okay, well, we'll go down to order. President for, make a motion for president being Director Coles.
Second.
Second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Good job, Todd. It's already passed. I'll go ahead and give that right there. All right, first vice president, nomination being Director Dindal.
Second.
Second. All right, I got a motion by Director Casillas and a second by Director Barria. All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. All right, and for the last seat, which he's not here, but I hope he accepts, it would be Dr. Cummings to step into that role. So I'll make a motion that, for that position.
Can we do this on condition of his acceptance?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Second is Director Casillas. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion carries. All right. Congratulations, new board, new officers, I should say.
Does this go for another 6 months or 2 years?
This will go to our, well, this will go to our, remember we got out of line with March is our, usually the slate of officers, and so we extended that. So this will go into March, yes, sir. And then,
And vote again?
yes, sir. This is just because we did that extension. We didn't have a full board and we didn't have a director at the time. So that's what the extension of the officers was made for. So, all right, we'll move on to item D. Consider approving a board workshop for all COSA DC board members and staff. Go ahead and stay at the podium, Ms. Shannon Scott.
Will do. So for you folks that have been here for a while, we typically try to hold at least 1 to 2 board workshops per year. Again, just to kind of refresh everybody on the things that we do at the Development Corporation. So we thought it was a good timing, since we do have some fairly new board members, to go ahead and conduct another board workshop beginning at in January of 2019. So with that said, there's some suggested dates here that we would like to meet. Again, we typically try to do about a 2.5 hour meeting that has some kind of introductory information, and again, we go into more detail about our projects and our programs and things like that. It's typically done during lunch or close to lunch, so we will provide lunch. But again, that's all contingent upon what you guys would like to do. But here again are some suggested dates. Again, we typically hold it at our training room at the Business Resource Center, but if y'all would like to switch it up and do it somewhere else, again, that's something that we'd be happy to take into consideration.
Just one note on the first dates, the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Let's see, it's the 7th and 8th. The Texas Transportation Forum will be meeting in Austin. Ports to Plains typically has their quarterly meeting coincide with that. And I think that Guy was wanting to attend that also. So 9th, 10th, or 11th of that week is still open, as far as I know.
I'll ask, would it help, instead of during the lunch hour, to try and do our meeting at the end of the day? They started at 3 o'clock instead of 11 o'clock. It seems 11 o'clock to 1 seems to have barriers in front of it and behind it. We're trying to get in, we're trying to get out. Maybe if it was at the end of the day, we could all make our schedules to where we're here until we're not feeling rushed at the end of the meeting. I remember the last meeting, we kind of skipped over the last because it was almost 1:30 or something. We had to all get back.
Better for me, Todd.
I would almost suggest if that was the case, we could take our time a little bit better, but I don't want to be there all night. Certainly not saying that, but
Oh, great suggestion.
you can still give us lunch.
At 3 o'clock.
If we extend it, we can get supper.
But I might suggest that if the board would be.
Motion made.
I like that suggestion.
And other than the dates, Director Berry discussed about conflicts. $14, $15, $16, $10, $11. I want to do a Friday afternoon.
You don't want to do a Friday afternoon?
Unless y'all do.
I'm open the 9, 10, and 11.
Wednesday the 9th.
Sounds good.
Starting at 3 o'clock?
I think so.
Okay.
We have church that evening.
Is that
but we should
agreeable
be
with
done by then.
staff? Y'all
think
have an
so.
input in this too?
I think we're, you guys okay doing it at the training center, or would y'all prefer a different location?
I like
Does
the
it work?
BRC, I think.
Yeah. We might as well use our own facility.
We'll get Nora to send out a calendar invite.
So the 9th on 3 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we need to approve that, Dan? Do we need to make a motion to approve that?
Yes, you
Okay.
do, yeah.
If I can get a motion from the
I'll
board.
make the motion that we meet on January the 9th at 3 PM at the BRC.
Okay. Second by Director Pueyo. All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries. All right, and Shannon's going to stay up. We have an updated presentation regarding an offer on behalf of Costa DC to an AmeriCorps Vista member to perform services to help with the WRC program, as well as provide organizational support to Costa DC staff.
Okay, so again, this was an MOU that was approved back at our April 25th board meeting, essentially approving an amount not to exceed $76.50 for 2 Vista members potentially. And right now, we do have a verbal offer to a candidate that myself and Guy and Sarah interviewed a couple of weeks ago. So again, the MOU has been approved. The money has already been set aside. So with that said, the verbal offer was extended on November 15th. And again, that would be for half of the funds that we approved for the $38.25. The total amount that was approved was for $76.50, but again, that would be potentially for 2 Vistas. If the candidate chooses to accept the offer, he would start in January, and that would be for a 1-year term. If you have any questions as far as details, what I failed to mention is that Sarah is back in San Angelo now, and she's working as the project manager for the VISTA program. So we have been working with her in getting the candidates, interviewing, and things of that nature. So if you have any detailed questions as far as the actual candidate himself, I'm sure she would be happy to answer them. But Guy's and I impression was he's very sharp, very educated. He's very interested in economic development. He's done his research, so we think he would be an integral part of our team to help continue our growth here, economic development-wise. So I can answer any questions. I'm sure Sarah would be happy to answer any questions regarding the candidate.
Open up to the board for questions or comments.
The gentleman's
That was
name
kinda
is
basic.
Zachary de Lusignan. He is a graduate from University of Virginia at Richmond with a degree in economics, philosophy, law, and political science. He was so thrilled to even get the opportunity to speak with Mr. Guy Andrews because he watched the Costa DC interview and just, I would say, considers you already to be his mentor. And so he's read the annual report that Shannon put together from this year and just really is already starting to integrate himself into the San Angelo community. I don't know if it's okay if I say he's already accepted the offer. Yes. And so I can't wait to bring him onto the team.
Sounds great.
Is that the total cost, just $3,800 for 1 year?
Yes, sir. So the way that it is a cost share between ASU and the host site, which is Costa DC. And so for a full 12-year services, it's $3,075, but the extra is for any professional development opportunities, such as attending conferences or other professional development.
Very reasonable.
Questions?
Any other
If
questions?
we're looking for a motion, I'll make it.
Oh, no, it's just an updated presentation. Quick on that, though. All right, thank y'all so much.
I'm encouraged by y'all's excitement about it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's kind of what seals the deal, so.
So we're excited to have him.
Awesome. Sounds like a big win for us. All right, now we're going to move on to closed session, executive session under the provision of Government Code Title V, Open Government Ethics, Subtitle A, Open Government, Chapter 551, Open Meetings, Subchapter D, exception to the requirement that meetings be open under the following sections. Section 551.087, to deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the board is receiving from business prospects with whom economic development negotiations are being conducted, and discuss financial or other incentives relating to the following projects. Project 2018-S224, Project 2018-R905, Project 2018-M193, Project PAC, Principal LED, Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property. A governmental body may conduct a closed meeting to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, and if deliberation in an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of the governmental body in negotiations with a third person. It is now 9 o'clock on the dot, and we are going into closed session. We are now out of executive session. There being no follow-up and administrative issues, we'll move on to line item D, which is the public work session, discussion and tour of Principal LED facilities. Only, no action will be taken. Like I said, it is 9:41. We'll be departing for that tour to start at 10 a.m. At the Principal LED facility, which is at 3490 Venture Drive. We'll approximately return by about 11:15, and after the tour is complete, we'll need to reconvene here at the convention center, and we'll need a quorum so we can adjourn the meeting. So it is 9:42, and we're now heading off to our tour. Okay, it is 11:20, and we're now reconvened from our tour at Principal LED. We'll move on. There's no discussion at this time, so I'll make a motion.
Did we want to?
From our, coming back from our tour, did you want to schedule?
We
a
would
time
like
to
for y'all to look at
visit Warren
scheduling a walkthrough of Warren Cat
Oh, that's correct. Yes,
as
yes, yes.
well. But I would prefer after the first of the year, if y'all are okay with that.
That sounds good.
Okay. But sometime if y'all wouldn't mind looking into that schedule.
Very good.
Are they supported by the Costa DC?
We assisted with
Okay.
their facility. That's
They're at the industrial park.
the industrial park. So, very good. Any other discussion from the board? All right, I'll make a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second by Director Coles. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.